Hi boys and girls, this is Mrs. Twisdale. I'm ready to do video 5.4. Actually, I'm not ready. I'm definitely still in vacation mode, but oh well, I'm going to do it anyway. So today is finding quantities of a whole with percentages. So your objective is I can find the quantity when I'm given the whole and percent. Today I really want you to focus on practicing these skills because the more you practice it, the more likely you are to remember it when you take your SAGE test. Alright, so here's an example problem. Now, a typical family of 4, meaning 4 people in the house, use about 400 gallons of water each day. That's a lot of water. And 30% of that water is for outdoor activities like gardening. So how many gallons of water does a typical family of 4 each day use for outdoor activities? So they use a total of 400 gallons a day, and 30% is for outdoor activities. How many gallons is that? So here we look at it. We're going to use a bar model. If we have 0 to 100%, and then we draw it and say, okay, 100% is 400 gallons. So how much would 30 gallons be? Well, when I look at this, I want to say, okay, 400, well, how much is each box going to be? How much would 10% of 400 be? 10% of 400 would be 40. And I know that because I just took 400 and divided it by 10 to get 10%. And so each box here is 40. 40, 40, 40. And because there's 10 boxes, if I have all of them together, 40 times 10 will give me 100. Or 400, sorry. That was 400. Okay, so 40 times 10 is 400, which is 100%. But only 30% is used for outdoor activities. So we want to look at just 4 or 3 of the 40s. So 40, 80, 120. So out of 400 gallons, 120 gallons are used for outdoor activities. Let me show you another way. Another way you can do this is you can simply remember that of means multiply. So you can find 30% of 400 by multiplying. First, you write this percentage as a fraction, 30 over 100. So we would do 30 over 100, and then of means multiply by 400. And then you just multiply like normal. And I'm just going to put a 1 under this, and then I'm just going to multiply straight across. Okay. But guess what? Before I do that, I'm going to cross cancel because I can easily cross cancel this. Watch this. Okay. That'll make it way easier. 30 times 40 is 120. 1 times 1 is 1. So we still got the answer of 120 gallons. So I prefer this way, but the bar model is also a really good skill as well. Okay, so I want you to try this one on your own. Just like the one that we just did, I want you to take 65% and write it as 65 over 100. Of means multiply times 300. Go ahead and try this one on your own. Alright, so write a 100. I'm going to do some cross canceling. Gives me 1 and 3. And then I just need to do 65 times 3. 19 equals 195. Oops. That was the wrong way to put it. 195. Sorry, guys. I'm still definitely vacation brain. Alright. So now, like I said at the beginning of the video, I want you to practice, practice, practice. That's the best way to do this. So I'm going to take 60%. I'm going to do this one right here. Take 60 and write it over 100. Of means multiply. 90 over 1. Can I cross cancel? I can. 9 and 10. And then I'm going to multiply 60 times 9. Oops. Mm, 54. So we have 540 divided by 10. And that would just be, oops. Yeah. There we go. Oh, this is bad. My brain's not working. It's 54. I actually just did that in my brain by just doing 54 like that, but. So there's that first one is 54. So 60% of 90 is 54. Okay, I want you to go ahead and try the next ones on your own. Pause your video as needed, and then I will solve them to check your work. And just remember, you're practicing. It's okay to mess up, but if you mess up, make sure you watch where your mistake was so that you can fix it. Okay, that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to make mistakes, and I want you to fix your mistakes. I don't want you to get it perfect every time, because that's just boring. Okay, so this first one, 25. Let's switch to blue. 25 over 100 times 32.4 over 1. I can actually simplify 25 over 100 if I want to, because I can cross cancel just from the bottom. That would be 1 over 4. And then multiply straight across. And you didn't have to simplify it. You can, but you don't have to. 32.4 divided by 4. And then I just do some division. That should be 8.1, I think. I just did that in my head, but yeah. So 8.1 is the answer. Okay, let's do another one. Well, you already did another one. I'm going to solve another one, though. Sorry, I'm trying to go fast. I'm really tired. I have to wake up early tomorrow and go to work. Just like you guys have to wake up early and come to school. Okay, 110% of 300. So, because it's more than 100%, it's going to be bigger than 300, which is kind of weird. But it's still going to be out of 100. And then times by 300 over 1. And I'm going to simplify this. This will be 3 over 1. And then 3 times 110. I just multiplied those. 0. Oh, what did I do? 330 over 1. So my answer would be 330. And there's lots of ways to solve this. You can definitely use the bar model if that works better for you. Just like I said, practice, practice, practice. Okay, and let's try this last try it problem. 0.2, and let's go green. What is it doing? 0.2 over 100 times 6,500. Jeez, that's a big number. Over 1. I'm going to do some cross canceling, so that's 1, and that's 65. And then I'm going to multiply 0.2 by 65. Oops, that's not a decimal there. There we go. 5, 0, 1, and 2, 1. 13. That's a 1 there, and then I put my decimal in right there. Alright, and that's that last try it problem. Boys and girls, I hope that if you need help, you stop me. These are level 2 problems. Make sure that you know how to do these because they're very important. Okay, here's your first example story problem. I'm going to do it and then I'll have an example problem for you in the next, or try it problem next. Now, Charlotte earns $4,000 each month. She spends 40% of her salary on her rent and 15% of her salary on groceries. So how much money does Charlotte have left over for other expenses? That's a really good question. All of us kind of deal with this each and every day. So let's see. So she has $4,000. So we want to know how much is left. This is what I'm going to do first. I'm going to find the 2%. 40% for salary. Okay. Oops, sorry. 40% for rent. Not salary. Let's try that again. 40% for rent and 15% for groceries. I'm going to add those two together to see how much she spent, or what percentage she's already used. Okay, 55%. So 55% of her check goes to rent and groceries. And the rest of her check is what's left over. So if I take 100% and subtract 55%, it leaves me with 45%. Okay, so now I want to find what is 45% of the original salary, $4,000. And now this is just like the other problems we were doing a minute ago. 45 over 100 of is multiply 4,000 over 1. I'm going to cross cancel. This will be 40 and 1. And then I multiply 45 times 40. Those would all be zeros, so I'll just go to the 4. Be 20, 16, 17, 18. And then that's 1. So out of $4,000, she has $1,800 left over after she pays her rent and her groceries, which that's reasonable. We knew that because it was less than 50%, it would be less than $2,000 because $2,000 would have been 50% of $4,000. So $1,800 or $1,800. It makes a lot of sense, which is good. Okay, here's your try it problem. A baker made 60 muffins for a cafe. By noon, 45% of the muffins were sold. How many muffins were sold by noon? I want you to try this one on your own. Before you start, though, look. 60 muffins, 45%. 50% of the muffins would be 30 muffins. So it's going to be a little bit less than 30. Go ahead and try this on your own. Okay. So 45%. Sorry, let me write it like this. 45% of 60. So 45 times 60 over 1. Okay. And cross cancel. This will be 6. This will be 10. Is that right? Yeah. I can cross cancel again because they share a 2. That'll be 3, and that will be 5. Okay. Now, 45 times 3. 12, 13, 135. And 5 times 1 is 5. And then 135 divided by 5. That's 27. Oh, that makes lots of sense. Because look, we said it would be less than 30. And it's just a little bit less than 30. So there's 27 muffins. Okay. And looks like I have one more problem after this. So here's your try it problem. Ooh, video game problem. There are 30 treasures hidden in a castle in a video game. LaToya found 80% of them, so she found almost all of them. She did pretty good. So how many of the treasures did LaToya find? Go ahead and try this one on your own. Okay, so in this problem, we were looking for 80% of 30. What is 80% of 30? So we do 80 over 100 times 30 over 1. Do some cross canceling, 3 and 10. And 80 times 3 would be 240. I know because 8 times 3 is 24. And then 10. And then when I have just 240 divided by 10, that's just 24. So out of 30 treasures, she found 24 of them, which is 80%, which is a lot, right? Not quite 100%, but she found most of them. Okay, here's your level 4 problem. Chrissy likes to tip a server in a restaurant a minimum of 20%. So when you go to a fancy restaurant and you want to tip the person that gives you your food, and usually 15% is good. But it looks like Chrissy likes to tip higher than that. She tips 20%. She and her friend have a lunch bill that is $18.34. Chrissy says the tip will be $3.30. Her friends say that is not a minimum of 20%. Who is correct, and explain? I want you to try this one on your own. If you don't know how to do the explain part, that's okay. That would just put you at a level 3. If you can do the explain part, that's level 4. Go ahead and try it on your own. Alright, so I'm going to prove if Chrissy's right or if her friends are right. I'm going to take this total, 1834, and I want to find 20% of it. Okay, and if it's 330, then Chrissy's right. If it's not 330, then she's wrong. So I have 20 over 100 times $18.34 over 1. Okay, so I can't really cross cancel very easily, but I'm going to cross cancel here because that could be 2 and that could be oh, let's see. We could go, yeah, we could even do 1/5, right? Because 20 goes into 100 5 times. Alright, I was just simplifying 20 100ths to 1/5. I'm going to multiply straight across. 1 times 18.34 is 18.34. 5 times 1 is 5. Now I'm just going to divide 5 into 1834. I'm going to be quiet while I do this. Ooh, I already know Chrissy's going to be wrong. I'm not even going to finish because look, I can see it's not 330, it's 366. So, I would say Chrissy is wrong and her friends are right. A 20% tip would be $3. Oops, that's supposed to be a dollar sign, sorry. Would be $3.66. And so Chrissy was tipping not enough. Oops. Let's do a period there. And so that's my explanation to go along with my level 4 answer. Chrissy is wrong and her friends are right. 20% tip would be $3.66, and so Chrissy was not tipping enough. Alright, boys and girls, that's all of your lesson for today. Please ask me if you have questions. It's very important that you know how to do percentages because you'll see them for the rest of your life. I hope you have a great day of learning.